Well, that's pretty much it for a cover of Syd Barrett and Terrapin. And what I'd like to do is, if you're going to stick around, I'll talk about the painting that I made of Mr. Barrett and what is going on in the background. So, most people are familiar with the image of Syd sitting like that. And it's been made into a lot of different images and cartoons already. But what I wanted to make behind him were two things that I think tie in well with the story of Mr. Barrett. And the first thing is, of course, the sky, this is an open room, which is an impossibility, really, but that's okay. And I wanted the roof open to the idea of this starry sky, and that starry sky is meant to approximate Vincent van Gogh's Starry Night over the Rhone. Now, obviously I'm not talented like Van Gogh, but it's an approximation. So I wanted to tie that together because Mr. Barrett often sung about stars, and if you've been paying attention or checking in on the Appealing Syd Barrett series with Goldenhair specifically, we discussed James Joyce and the Shy Star verse right before Goldenhair, which kind of gives context to the meaning of the song Goldenhair. I wanted a shy star, so I put a lighter colored star above Syd, and I feel that's appropriate. And I crossed out the sky with the same colors, basically as Starry Night over the Rhone. Now, the wall behind Mr. Barrett, I've made a yellow wall and cross-hatched that with some crosses. And for me, anyway, in my opinion, I think Mr. Van Gogh and Mr. Barrett were similar in that they were both kind of struggling with the idea of Christianity and what it should be and how they could incorporate that into their lives. We know that's true with Vincent van Gogh, of course, because he wrote about it in his letters to Theo. So we have quite a bit of material from Vincent van Gogh about that, but Mr. Barrett was a lot more quiet about a lot of things, and so we don't really know for sure what all he was going through, but we do know that he made some references to it, and I'm going to make an episode on that in the future. But one thing he did make was a series of kind of almost like dissolving crosses with a background of red, and I didn't want this to be red because I can see why he might have wanted it to be red. And of course, we've discussed previously the idea of red and cross and other possible references, but to the color red in almost like a kingship of the earth, etc. idea. But the idea of decorating the world and making it more beautiful, and specifically of making sacrifices to things that you want, things like giving up on the material world, giving up on money to try and make the world a better place, I feel is more approximated by the color yellow and gold. So I've tried to background the wall behind Mr. Barrett in crosses in yellow and gold for that reason, as a form of selfless kind of sacrifice and in an attempt perhaps to give up on things in order to make the world a better place, or a more beautiful experience and place for yourself and for other people, of course. So that's kind of the story behind the painting, and hopefully you enjoyed the song. If you haven't checked out my series yet, Appealing Syd Barrett, please feel free to do so. And I'm also doing a second series now called Did Syd, in which I'm going to discuss kind of the idea of whether or not Syd influenced other people or influenced other songs, or perhaps was working with other people. And of course, this is all not something that's knowable, but we went through and made up a kind of a fingerprint of Syd, and we're trying to apply that to other songs. And maybe that's just for fun, whatever, but if something like that interests you, please feel free to check them out, and I hope you enjoyed this video and the song. I'll see you later.